It's Hearthstone Grandmasters for Europe. We just saw a piece by Kalento. We copied that from a couple weeks ago. We figured it was the best way to do it. We didn't really look at the other media pieces, so we don't really know. We just copy whatever Mike did. Mike's the producer. Fenomeno versus Bozzzton, our second match of the day. I'm Matt Saberbull. I'm joined by Derek Brown. And another mirror match that we have coming up, although there are some pretty distinct differences in the deck list here. We have a rogue in terms of class mirror match, both of them playing the Vendetta package, but very different top ends and ways to get there.
Yeah, we had an interesting debate yesterday when we were going through all the deck lists as to who was favored in this matchup. I was personally of the opinion that Fenomeno looked to be slightly in the lead because very often in these rogue matchups, while they have a huge amount of value stuffed in there now, it can come down to just a burn plan. Both players running Waggle Pick, at least one of, in their deck. And I was thinking for Fenomeno's deck list, it feels a lot tighter, a lot more 2-ofs. The double Life Drinker, the Ziliax as well, can help him heal out of range, whilst he smacks Bozzzton as hard as he can every single turn. I suppose the real thing that you didn't like about Fenomeno's deck was those Sea Giants.
What? You're just going to glaze over it like that? There are two Sea Giants in a rogue deck.
Yes.
Water Rogue. I have heard that Hunter Ace was the creator of Water Rogue.
Yes, he messaged me on Twitter right after last week's Grandmasters and said, do I want the deck? He found it, the ultimate deck in Water Rogue, as he has so cleverly dubbed it with Sea Giant and Spirit of the Shark. Haha.
Ocean Rogue. Let's take a look over at Bozzzton's deck list and see what he's up against. I disliked yesterday playing the Sea Giants, specifically for the reason that I was not facing other rogues. The second I faced another rogue, I went, oh, that's what the Sea Giant's for. You guys get a lot of lackeys on board real quick. Just a more tempo rogue-oriented version. But admittedly, I'm not a big fan of Heist Bear and Togwaggle right now either.
Really?
So that was one of the reasons why Fenomeno's deck for me was feeling like it was on the weaker side of this matchup.
Interesting. Was
he's got Heist Bear and Togwaggle, two Sea Giants, and Bozzzton knowing that Fenomeno has Sea Giants, I think changes a lot of the dynamic, and it means that those pair of Eviscerates and that sap can buy him tempo.
Right.
And I think when it comes to this style of matchup, tempo means damage, and damage is the king.
Oh, I absolutely agree. I think in these early turns, the thing that will swing Bozzzton back into this game are specifically Eviscerate, potentially Sap, although he's on the coin, so it's unlikely that Bozzzton will make a big Edwin. And also the Henge Clan Thug. That is something that Fenomeno is missing in his deck. As a lot of players have cut, Henge Clan Thug is far from standard in Rogue at the moment, I would say. But for Bozzzton, it could be a pretty decent unanswerable threat.
I do feel like Henge Clan Thug will become more standard in this deck, though.
I think it's gonna, it's gonna make its way in more.
Something that really stood out to me was at the turn of this format, as he mulligans away, Henge Clan Thug. So the fear would be exactly Vendetta and Waggle Pick as tempo. That's wacky to me.
I think it's more so the case that he's on the coin, and therefore he would much rather go coin Miscreant, or obviously go for a big Edwin early on.
Plays.
Yeah, exactly. It's decent.
Yeah,
not good enough.
It's a big question mark for me. I was referring to at the start of this format where Zalay had tweeted out. He's one of the Grandmasters from Americas. He had said, "It's crazy to think that Rogue is so good right now. This was pre-balance patch."
Right.
That you don't even include Henge Clan Thug.
Right.
Which is historically, since its introduction to the game, been basically a rogue card.
Right. I mean, it was arguably the cornerstone of Rogue early game for a long time.
What? And what? Not played? So now that Rogue has hit a balance patch, and we've seen Miscreant move down to 1/4, it's a little less sticky on board. We saw Raiding Party moved up to 4 mana, and at the same time, Preparation moved to a 2-mana discount on a spell rather than a 3-mana discount. I feel like Henge Clan Thug finds a wonderful home in this deck where your turn 4, you want to play Henge Clan, you want to prep an Avis, and you want to hit him in the face and have a 4/4 that your opponent has to answer.
I think it's obviously very powerful in a vacuum as a card. Like a 3-mana 4/4 that grows every turn you swing with your weapon is very powerful. It's more where it slots into the meta that I think it finds trouble. With pretty much all warriors playing double Militia Commander, that can be very easily cleared off. With a lot of rogues playing Waggle Pick, that can obviously also very easily clear it off. I think the power of a 3-mana 4/4 is just not powerful enough in this meta when you can do stuff like Evil Miscreant, Edwin Van Cleef, Heist Baron Togwaggle nonsense as well.
Yeah, well, we're just going to have to disagree on this one.
Also, one thing that we can agree on is that finding a Heist Baron Togwaggle off of a Blink Fox is an excellent meme. and I will hear nothing to the contrary.
I thought you were going to say draw, and I was like,
no,
oof.
That's a great meme. It's not very good. It's way too slow playing 2 of them in this matchup. It's arguably too slow playing 1 of them in this matchup.
Interesting here that Bozzzton goes for the Shark over the Waggle pick.
That is interesting. Especially as... Well, actually, his payoff next... Actually, yeah, I was going to say his payoff might not be that good because I was looking at Hench Clan Burglar. Evil Cable Rat on the following turn with this Shark is going to be absurd.
Do you think the Shadow Step is what influenced this?
100%. Absolutely. I think if he hadn't found the Shadow Step, he would have been much more likely to go Waggle pick.
Blazing Invocation for Fino found as well. Interesting.
Discovers Rogue Battle Cries then, I guess, as well. Yeah.
Third High Spirit Togwaggle. Okay, not the lackeys you're looking for, and you see the wince from Bozzzton side.
I mean, he's going to take a lot of damage.
That's the thing. Remember, board equals damage, damage is king.
Okay.
It's a rogue matchup.
Yeah, I guess if this was on Fino's side, because Bozzzton has 1 Life Drinker, no Ziliax, I believe, whereas Fino has double Life Drinker and Ziliax, so Fino can definitely afford to take a little bit extra damage. However, these lackeys, though, faceless lackeys, this is so much board control now.
He's going fishing. I mean, you're looking at 8 uncontested on the other side right now.
Yeah, I agree. You definitely step in first.
8. You know what I would do for a 50% chance to deal 8 damage? I would play 7 taunt minions in a row.
No way!
Whoa!
Okay.
No, that's the worst.
That is the worst. I will give you that. 2 is all right. 4 is way too much.
No. Okay. What can? Because these battle cries activate twice.
Yeah. Whoa! Dude, if he had enough board space, he could summon like 15 minions here.
Fino not happy
Fino's
about it.
not happy about it either. Fino's thinking what I'm thinking, which is that this board control is absolutely mental.
So that's the thing is neither player can see the other's hand. We can see them.
Right.
This is better for Fino than it is for Bozzzton. Because Fino has ways to pick this apart.
Is it though?
I think it definitely is. Like, look, Bozzzton does not have a way to answer back on damage. He's terrified of Fino swinging this board.
I think Bozzzton is afraid of Fino going face here. I think that's really what he is afraid of happening because he has no healing, no taunts. His board does not actually have that much damage.
Right, so think about that with Sea Giant in the deck. You got a bunch of faceless lackeys against a deck that runs Sea Giant and Tempo.
Right.
That's terrifying.
It is terrifying, but I'm saying that Bozton's hand is able to leverage board control back in his favor just because of the amount of stuff that he can summon with his lackeys.
I don't know, man. I think he's a trub.
I think he's in trouble. I think it would have been worse for him had Fino had a hand with Wagglepick and Leroy and all that stuff. This is still not good for him.
His whole board's just gone.
You are correct in that assessment. Yeah, okay, this worked out pretty terribly.
Where have all the minions gone?
I don't know. Yeah.
They died because this was terrible.
Faceless Lackey is usually so good. It's just Fino with the
Fino Shadow stepping a 2 damage kobold over the Miscreant.
Well, it's to get Togwaggle next turn, right? Guaranteed. Bozzzton has no counterplay to kill it off.
It's crazy how big of a lead Fino has after Bozzzton just summoned 7 minions. Bad turn. Horrible turn.
It's the power of attacker's advantage, being able to dictate all the value trades.
Yeah, it's also the power of playing the Shark over the Waggle pick. I think Bozzzton made a blunder not fighting for the board early and very aggressively.
And he gets Spirit of the... Oh, no, wait, that's not Dragonhawk. That's Spirit of the Bat. Okay. I thought he got Spirit of the Dragonhawk there, which is the one literally useless card.
It's always tough for me to tell just from... Okay, there we go. I can't... I look at the visual and I'm like...
I've been taunted by it enough times to know the bat. I always get Dragonhawk, dude. Literally every time I get Spirit of the Dragonhawk. And it literally does nothing. It just makes your Waggle pick worse. Oh my god, did he get... No way!
Thanks.
That's Spirit of the Dragonhawk.
What? I don't understand. How is that... He got 4 Faceless Lackeys.
Yep.
And then he got... What? I'm just confused. Like...
Bozzzton should be in so much better of a position here.
I get that random clumps, but what the heck is going on?
Dibs on random clumps.
Wait. The Leroy. What if the Leroy just gets buffed by the bats? Like a ton of times. Is that a win condition? Stop buffing the Hench Clan dog! It buffs itself!
Dude, that is never a win condition. Like, Fino's playing this right. I think going for the High Sparrow and Togwaggle here, specifically for Wondrous Wand, is exactly what you want to do here. It draws him closer to Life Drinker, Ziliax to lock out any kind of possibility for Bozzzton to get there through burst damage.
So how does Bozzzton win if that's the case? I mean, we're looking at burglars.
Right.
We're looking at miscreants. Like, you can always cook something up with Rogue. That, I think, is what keeps Rogue in a powerful position. Is there's always something, it feels like, that you could do, even if it's the longest of shot.
So then we're looking at, obviously going for, I don't even know, discovering a spell and getting Vanish.
Well, you can't cast Vanish just yet, but we can discover a spell. Eviscerate.
Blade Flurry is a board clear with Waggle Pick.
Oh.
That is an 8 mana, 4 damage AoE.
It does require 8 mana, which is, I think, the tough part about that.
It's something, though, right? Like, unless he wants to go for Eviscerate and go for a Leroy Lethal out.
I think the Eviscerate's the take here, because if I'm in Bozzzton's spot, you still have to fight for tempo.
Yeah.
This is a prepped Eviscerate.
Oh, it's prepped as well. Okay.
So you Witchy Lackey. You buff up one of these bats. Do you trade first? Probably. Leroy finally gets buffed. I think there's a game here. I think if Fino whiffs these Wondrous Wand draws, there's a game.
This is so
he has
likely
to whiff,
to be so good.
Okay,
Life
it's
Drink
good.
is good.
Okay,
SI
it's very
is good. Cable Rat's fine.
This is a pretty good one.
These are all perfectly reasonable.
That, to me, now spells Fino massive advantage. He had to whiff that if Bozzzton was going to have a chance, in my opinion.
Witchy Lackey as well to buff up, I guess, to a...
The bat is making some stuff pretty... I mean, that Henge Clan Thug's getting really big.
It is getting pretty big. Was Spirit of the Bat the nuts in this instance for Bozzzton? Because he needs something absurd, right, to pull this back. Regular minions, I'm not sure get there. Oh, that's a lot of damage.
Whenever that minion is attacked, it has a 50% chance to redirect the attack to another legal target. It still has to be a legal attack.
So an opposing minion.
Opposing enemy, yeah. So it can hit base and stuff.
Yes.
This guy's toast.
And if you're going to kill it in that order, that's out of order.
Yeah, that is a slight mistake there from Fino.
But you know what? When you're playing with Rogue and all this wacky stuff, the goal is to do something good enough.
Yes.
You're operating with a lot of information. You're just not going to do it all perfectly. Not enough time.
Fino just pulling miles and miles.
Spend mana, get stuff.
Countess Ashmore can summon...
Celiacs.
I guess it draws Celiacs, yep. That's pretty much it.
There are no death rattles.
No other rushes. Yeah, okay.
All right. So how much damage are we looking at? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. There's 16 on the other side of the board. So Bozzzton knows that any single damage is going to kill him.
So can he ever set up lethal then by launching all face? Leroy is 7 attack, I believe.
So what I'm looking at is you can't Waggle Pick and the Henge Clan Burglar, so you're probably done.
So he probably has to just Shadow Step the...
Miscreant.
So many
You think the Miscreant over the...
Yeah, the Spell Lackey's probably the better one. So how does that sequence then? This is a tough turn.
Yeah. I guess he's in such a bad spot that he has to just hope that he gets more Ethereal Lackeys off of this Miscreant.
Yeah, my weird thinking was, do you have enough time to like Henge Clan Burglar a Wind Fury and get like a Cold Blood from a Spell Discover for the Leroy?
Oof, these are bad. Mega Assembly?
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to find good options right now.
Yeah.
It wasn't the Spirit of the Bat. I don't think that's ever happened for Bozzzton before. Yeah, Fino being at 29, I think is really the big difference here. He gets to leverage the lead.
Oh,
Bozzzton.
yeah. I mean, like, this matchup can be about value in some weird instances, especially when neither player is playing Waggle Pick, which both these players are. But the vast majority of the time, it's just trying to get damage through the face.
And Bozzzton sees created by Blink Fox.
Well played.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, I was wrong as well. Double Heist Baron Togwaggle did come down, and it was pretty damn good.
Yeah. I don't think it was needed.
It was definitely not needed.
Again, for me, the whole game boils down to Bozzzton's turn 3. Coin Spirit
Yes, that was the key turn.
versus Coin Waggle Pick. And I think Coin Waggle Pick deals you a lot of damage, but I think it secures you a better position.
I think the vast majority of outcomes, though, Spirit of the Shark was so good. Imagine any other lackeys. He
You're
gets
not wrong.
Ethereal Lackey, Kobold Lackey, literally any of the others. If he'd got one other Lackey on any of the options, it would have been very powerful. It was just all wrong.
Nothing.
Yeah, that's it.
He had no other tempo plays in hand, though. Like, why risk it?
What do you mean, why risk it? The upside is he pulls massively ahead. You risk it because you win the game off the back.
Do you need that? Does the waggle pick not do that, though?
So what was his alternative play? He coins waggle pick and attacks into something.
So you pick the 4-3.
Yes.
Your opponent develops into it. You have Miscreant and Evil Cable. I mean, you have Evil Cable Rat in hand.
Yeah.
So you're already getting 2 lackeys next turn with Evil Cable Rat and another swing of the pick. In that instance, he would have drawn Miscreant, I believe it was. I mean, you have a lot of... Obviously, he can't predict his next draw. But what I'm looking at is you're going to get 2 lackeys next turn just with the Evil Cable Rat.
Yeah.
And you get to kill off 7 attack on board. Like, the Blink Fox and the Henge Clan Burglar just beat him up the whole game.
That's true.
I want to play those faceless lackeys. My opponent does not have stuff on board, not when they have 6 minions.
There's a lot of things that can go wrong with that plan, though. Like, if you're swinging with the waggle pick and then swinging again next turn, that's a lot of damage you've taken primarily, and you haven't actually gained board control then as Bozzzton. If he swings with the waggle pick, swings again, and then plays Spirit of the Shark next turn, and then goes for the
I don't want to play the Spirit on that turn.
I think that's then too... What you're doing isn't powerful enough then. You're not generating enough stuff to fight back on the board.
That could be very true as well.
I think that the coin, like so often, coin Spirit of the Shark, in not just that game, every game, just gets you so much value that you can dominate the board. I think it was a worthy risk, but I love the debate as well. That I can totally see the merit for waggle pick.
Kind of what I'm getting at is it's very complicated of a matchup.
Tough.
So we're going to go to a break, and when we come back, game number 2 is going to get underway. Don't go anywhere.
The cards see a heart that is stony and a totem that's all kinda bony. This witch in such danger will soon be no stranger, 'cause she's gonna be our new crony. We welcome you into this room, and we promise your enemies doom. Just one more who's coming. The last one I summon is a fella who makes things go boom.
My name is Casper. My alias is Hunter. My username actually goes way, way back. I didn't actually come up with it myself. My father is like somewhat of a gamer and he had like his own gaming stuff. But what I did was I just stole one of his tags and used it for myself.
So Hunter is really your dad?
Well, not anymore. Right now I reached like my ultimate goal for this year. We happened to win the World Championship and that was like the biggest thing. So I'm like still extremely happy about that. I think that the Grandmaster program provides an exciting opportunity to be able to play like high competition Hearthstone every week. Only competing against EU players to start with is going to be a very difficult job, and it's going to be super hard to be like one of the standout performers and then qualify to the global finals. I would have to stay at my best to be able to qualify.
Welcome back to Hearthstone Grandmasters for the European region. We just saw Hunter Ace there, who was the foretold, I'm told anyway, that he was the creator of this water rogue deck that Fenomeno is playing, featuring Sea Giant and Spear of the Shark. It's taking you to the ocean. Ocean rogue, some would say. He doesn't play until tomorrow. It'll be his first match, but every single player in Grandmasters plays every single week, so make sure you can catch him. Check out the schedule on the website. But we're going into game number 2. Bozzzton down a game. Even during the break, Darroch and I continued to debate the point, which I think we will adjourn. They're both sticking on primary, though. And something that I look at is I'm very concerned with Bozzzton because he dropped game number 1 and he was on the coin.
Yes, which does usually put you at an advantage. I would agree, obviously being able to go coin Evil Miscreant, coin Edwin. You've lost the ability to go for coin Raiding Party now that obviously the nerf has hit up to 4 mana. But I suppose there was even disagreement amongst us about how well the coin was utilized in that game. And for Fenomeno, he hit the perfect on-the-play curve. When you're not on the coin and you can't go for Miscreant, hitting the curve of Blink Fox into the Burglar as well was just absolutely absurd. So much damage. And he's hit it again.
Yep, except Fenomeno's on the coin this game. Oh my.
Oh. I mean, who needs coin Miscreant? That's a 1-attack minion. Coin Blink Fox is a 3-attack minion.
Yeah.
That hits hard.
3/3s are way cooler.
Yeah.
Than 1/4s. Like, think about 1/4s. Silverback Patriarch.
Bad.
Whatever that weird 1/4 charge taunt thing from, like, GB.
Gnome Gun Infantry.
Yeah.
Bad.
Don't know how you know the name of that. Impressive.
I'm pretty good at obscure card names.
Now 3 threes. Whoa.
Now we're talking.
Okay, this 1-4's okay.
This play from Fino was 3 times as bad as going for coin Blink Fox. Exactly.
It was 3 times as bad as attack, but 1/3 better on health, so it was 2 2/3 worse.
Man, we've solved Hearthstone. We finally got it.
It's all about math and data. It's a lot about math and data.
It is a lot about maths and data.
But I think it's a lot about ingenuity as well. I think it's about finding angles of attack that players don't anticipate.
And while we are having a little bit of a chuckle at Fino's expense, there's obviously obvious reasons why you go for the coin miscreant. Just being able to go wide on lackeys with this turn is actually pretty tempting.
You can see the difference in 1-5 and 1-4, though. I mean, it already straight up is contested from the single dagger attack.
That's true. That is a big difference. Ooh.
I am waggle picking every time here.
Yeah, I don't like the Spirit of the Shark this turn. I agree with you here.
What if he had a miscreant or an evil cable rat in hand?
I would very much be more tempted to go with Spirit of the Shark.
But you would ultimately decide on Imagine your rope is burning.
Spirit of the Shark. I think if he had a lackey generator in hand, or specifically Cable Rat, because it wouldn't require an activator, which he does not have.
I am not playing aggressively enough with this card then.
I just feel like Spirit of the Shark into Cable Rat is one of the most powerful things that is like available in Hearthstone at the moment. It's so good. You get so much value, so much tempo. And also the fact that if you clear the board with Spirit of the Shark in play, there's a very good chance that it sticks around for yet another turn. But obviously in this instance, I agree with very few activators.
He doesn't have a lackey generator.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so for Bozzzton, I feel like the debate is much easier. I think he's taking time for time's sake.
Yeah. Especially as the Death Rattle here on Wagglepick is looking like it could actually be pretty good. Every minion in his hand, aside from the Spirit of the Shark, is very good to bounce back.
That 2/2 is...
It copies a Death Rattle as the battle cry, so it's effectively
yeah.
Just a 2/2.
The Priest 2/2 is the Death Rattle lackey. You would have the Death Rattle symbol.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. They do look similar, though. Weird turn now for Bozzzton. With the Evil Miscreant being picked up, there's obviously consideration for just Miscreant, bounce it back with the Wagglepick, Miscreant again.
Yeah, I was thinking about, like, how do you fight for board most efficiently and do the most stuff? So the things that I look at...
How do you play good?
Well, yeah, I mean, kind of, yeah.
Essentially.
So many options.
So swing with the Wagglepick and Spirit of the Shark is also very much worth considering, setting up for a real powerhouse turn next turn.
Wow, I'm stumped. This is a tough hand.
This is a real tough turn.
Choose soon.
Like, if he had a good, cheap Miscreant activator to go for the following turn, I think Spirit of the Shark would be pretty easy.
I'm very tempted to SI. Whoa.
I think I like this. I think taking the 3 damage here is fine. Like, any other turn that you're going to develop the Spirit of the Shark, I think you are likely to take much more than 3 damage.
Goodness, these hands are good. Bozzzton's is just clunky. It's a good hand, it's just clunky.
Yeah, it is.
Which I
clunky.
guess kind of makes it a bad hand, but I digress. Okay, 4 options for Fino.
Yeah, pretty underwhelming. Cannon Barrage with no pirate, or only Henge Clan Burglar, I suppose, is the pirate is. Not that tempting, so I agree with the good old head crack.
Gonna crack some heads.
Dude, head crack is good. If you're up against a warrior, it can be pretty strong. I wouldn't put it in my deck, mind you.
I am almost offended.
Almost offended. You're not a fan of the old head crack?
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
3 mana to have a Hunter Hero power. By the way, you have to play a thing first.
That's good.
Let me just spend the other 20 mana in my hand, and you just wait until I get that 2 a turn crank it then.
Just you wait until I get to 20 mana.
Millhouse Darok Storm.
All right, how is this hand shaking out now? Still awkward to hit those combo activators.
Yep, I'm looking at Eviscerate probably going to be first on deck.
We could just see Miscreant step Miscreant because you get 4 lackeys anyway, which is a huge amount of value.
I think it's what comes up with lackeys. Like Kobold Lackey would kill the Henge Clan Burglar. Oh my goodness.
Oh, he misses all the tempo lackeys again. He has to take this 4 damage now because he hit no Kobold and no Goblin, and he's giving away information as he does.
That's the thing that's for me is like Bozzzton. You look, Bozzzton's got his back against the wall. He has not had a good start here in Grandmasters. Now that Fortune is putting him in a tougher spot, like I feel like
he's upset.
Yeah, and I feel like this is a match where, you know, getting upset is not going to help you play Hearthstone in this spot.
Absolutely not.
Like I'm looking at Faceless Lackey and probably Shadow Step this, just build as much as you can and try to alleviate some of the clunkiness of your hand.
But then the Sea Giants become cheaper for Fino. The Water Rogue coming in hot.
I mean, this is kind of how the deck was designed. The Sea Giants, I disliked them.
Step the Shark.
I disliked the Sea Giants in the deck, but they are there for the mirror match where I do think it's quite impressive.
Oh man, the options available for Fino this turn.
Now, I will admit that yesterday Hunter simply told me it's a big minion. You play a big minion.
Yes.
Bigger minions are bigger.
Absolutely.
And I was like, wow, okay, thanks, Ike. But he's not wrong. I mean, it is just a big thing. Just think about how rogue matchups go. Like, you're always creating board tension and then trying to leverage that position for a huge turn. What's the one thing that really breaks that rule? Sea Giant.
So the most obvious play I'm looking at this turn was to go for Life Drinker Sea Giant. It puts stats on the board, gets a lot of damage face as well. But I guess just still, this is keeping up with Fino's game plan of trying to clear off stuff each turn. Oh no, wait, I disagree. He's going face and killing his opponent. Okay.
That is bad news.
He is still clearing off some of the board. All right, this is the turn from Bozzzton. He needs to pull off an absolute blooming miracle to swing this game back.
This turn's got to be a banger, or he's donezo.
Some of those were words.
Dunzo and banger.
Our new comedy duo.
Thursdays at 8. Thinking a Sapphire and Eviscerate would be nice. Not any of these.
Yeah, it's all too slow. It's way too slow.
Oh boy.
Unidentified Contract cannot be played without the prep. If you got like the one that attacks both minions on either side.
All right, what evolves can we get?
That's not doing anything.
It's got 4 damage with SI7 agent. The witchy lackeys.
He basically has to evolve into Ziliax, right? He has to target the Miscreant, which double evolves into Ziliax.
Such a beautiful design.
Good luck.
Whatever he's going to do.
He's got to hurry up.
He's got to do it real quick. Nah.
I give up.
Done. Fino 2-0. 5-0 in match records. Fino,
Still undefeated.
he has not lost a game.
Still, he hasn't lost a game.
Fino has not lost a single game.
That is absolutely absurd.
And now, granted, with the way that Boston's luck went there, I don't think that Fino was going to lose these games. But he has not lost a game. 10-0 game score, 5-0 match record.
Fino's deck as well. I mean, the cards that they drew were not the cards that made their deck different necessarily. Like, I would say the Sea Giant was not that crucial in finding a victory there for Fino. He was very far in the lead anyway. But I'd say his deck is just looking pretty strong there. Also showing the power, not necessarily of going for a big Spirit of the Shark play, but of just curving out. His play of going Miscreant, Blink Fox into Burglar 2 games in a row, or I suppose the Blink Fox into Burglar the first game, it's just more powerful. He just killed his opponent, showing the power of face damage in that matchup.
I must amend my statement. I've been informed. He lost 1 game versus Bunny Hopper.
Oh, what a terrible player.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what's even the point of talking about that record anymore then? 5-0. Goodness, Rogue is such a weird deck to show up all of a sudden, where it was like it was almost extinct in our first week even, where it was like so few players had brought it. It was like Warrior was the dominant thing that we saw across pretty much every single region. It was there in week 1 because it was powerful. But you look at Pavel's Nomi Priest deck, which took the risk of
That's true.
trying to face rogue decks, and they just didn't show up. Then you look at post-balance patch, where Preparation's been hit, Evil Miscreant's been hit, Raiding Party's been hit, 3 of the best cards in Rogue, and now suddenly it shows up a lot.
And still, the most interesting thing is we are seeing versions of the deck that still run Prep and Raiding Party. We've got a Boar Control, I believe, in EU, and I think Muzzy in the Americas, who have the Raiding Party package with the Dread Corsairs as well. I'm very excited to see how those work out.
I'm very excited to hear this interview because Fino has some explaining to do. Fino, can you hear us?
Hey guys, yeah.
Fino, you told me last week, it was right here, it was in this style of interview, you said, there's no reason to not bring Mage. It's unbeatable. Why would you bring anything other than Mage? Now you brought Rogue. Explain yourself, young man.
Yeah. Well, like, I think, sometimes you need to change things up, right? Like,
Okay.
when you're playing against good players, like, sure, Mage can be... I still think Mage is the best deck, by the way. And if I could go back, I would bring Mage this week. Because I'm playing against 2 Rogues, and I think Mage destroys Rogues, no matter how much they take against it.
Really?
But yeah, like, my opponents this week was Boar and Bozzzton. And I know Bozzzton doesn't play much Mage, so I put him on either Warrior or Rogue, and he played the Rogue. And then Boar, I didn't think he would play Mage. I think he would play either Hunter or Rogue. And I mean, I don't know, Hunter is kind of annoying for Mage. I'd say it's the only annoying class that, like in my experience at least. So I just wanted to spice things up a bit, bring something different. But I think if I could go back, I would bring Mage again.
I remember on Fino's stream the other day, you were climbing with Rogue and just saying, where are the mages to come and kill me? I'm winning too much.
Yes, exactly, Daryl, exactly.
Someone please defeat me. I'm undefeatable right now.
Pretty much.
5-0. I want to talk about your match with Boar Control. Boar Control, obviously a teammate of yours. What was preparation like this week? Did you guys still prepare a lot together, or did you have to separate that?
We didn't prepare together, and I tried to not talk to people that we prepared together normally, because Boar talks to them too. So I practiced with Seiko this week, and he also had Rogue in mind, and I just knew that I didn't want to play Mage again. Now what I would play, I wasn't sure. I was leaning towards Rogue, but I wasn't sure. And then I talked to Seiko, and he was like, yeah, I also kind of want to play Rogue. And then we tested a bunch, and we found this Rogue, which was pretty good against Warriors. It was pretty decent against Mages. And also, I didn't expect much Mage. I expected more Hunter, to be honest, because, I don't know, Hunter is going crazy on ladder and on open cup, so I expected more people would play, even though I think the deck is terrible. Yeah, that's about it.
Well, I'm going to ask you to explain yourself yet again then. What makes Hunter so terrible? Why do you think it's terrible?
I just don't know. It's just not enough for me. I don't know. Every time I play against it, I feel like I always win. And they only have a chance when I play Mage. Like, I was watching Boar stream Rogue the other day, and he just farmed every single Hunter he played against. So I don't know. It's just, this deck is missing something, in my opinion, that just doesn't make it good enough for me.
It's just never enough for you, is it?
No, only Mage is enough for me, and some Rogue now and then, just for the memes,
All right. Well, with your 5th victory, we're starting to get a good idea of your prep. We know pretty much everything you're doing in Grandmasters, but I want to get a little bit of your thoughts about the upcoming Masters Tour event in Las Vegas and the other buff patch that is hitting us in a couple of weeks. How are you looking to prepare for that, and what are you looking forward to in terms of decks and also the tournament that we've got coming up?
Well, I was actually talking about this on my stream the other day, because I feel like this meta is so unexplored. With the new changes now, with the prep nerf and all that. And I was kind of sad that it's going away so soon, we have 1 more week with it, and then the meta changes completely. So I was kind of sad about that, but I always enjoy when new stuff get added to the game. And now I feel like they're going to be way more decks that are playable with the buff. So it's going to be very, very interesting to prepare for Vegas and for the upcoming weeks, I guess.
Well, all right. I think that it just about wraps things up for us, Fino. I mean, 5-0 match score, 10-1 in game score is pretty darn impressive. Congratulations, and I look forward to seeing you play tomorrow.
Mage is still the best, by the way, guys. Don't forget that. All right,
I won't. Thank you. Mage is still the best, guys. Don't forget that.
I mean, I do agree with him. Question for you then. Do you agree, first of all, that Mage is the best deck at the moment? And if so, do you think it was smart for people to still not bring it, even if it is the most powerful? Or you can agree it's up at the top, right? Like it's close to the top.
I do definitely agree it's up at the top. I think that the deck is incredibly difficult to play, and for me, you know, this statement's not going to make sense to everybody, but it's very reminiscent of the Grim Patron era, where Grim Patron was a very powerful deck, but it was extremely difficult to play.
Yeah.
And the players who piloted it well saw enormous win rates and tremendous success. If you did not play the deck at its peak, it fell apart at the hinges. And that's a lot of what Mage reminds me of right now. Like, when I make one mistake, I go, oh, okay, well, this game's gone. Like, I don't know what happened. I don't know what I could have done better. But it feels like every game I play with that deck, there's something that could have gone better, even when things seemingly went ideal.
And I guess that's part of what led Fino to exploit Bozzzton's playstyle. And he said he hasn't been playing much Mage. And if you haven't been playing a lot of Mage, you can't just pick it up and expect to win with it. You need to learn this deck, which is why a lot of players may be struggling with it on ladder, despite its incredibly high power level.
That's a strong read right there. That's a very strong read. Wow. That one's great. All right, well, break is coming up, and we have our match of the day that's coming up next. Our third match, Pavel versus RDU, is what we're going to be seeing. So stick around. More Hearthstone European region Grandmasters action is coming up.